Hi, this is Kathy Callahan Brady, and welcome to In the Trenches. And today we have a great guest. I'm really excited to talk to you today. Thank you, Jeff, for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Boy, how long has it been now with Fitzy? Trying to think. It's over a year. Are we on 2
Oh, gosh.
now?
Yeah, about 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
We formed the company in September 2017.
Wow.
So it must have been right around that time.
Yeah. And there's 3 of you guys that wandered in. Okay.
Yeah, my co-founders, Dave Maloney and Matt
Yeah.
Boxer, both came from the NCATs.
Well, tell us about Veralox. It's a pretty exciting thing that you guys are doing.
Well, thanks. At Veralox, we're developing new medicines to treat patients with rare blood disorders, as well as type 1 diabetes. Now, these diseases are deadly. There's currently no cure,
Really?
and we plan to change that.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
How many people does it affect?
Well, with the rare blood disorder we're working on first, it's called heparin-induced thrombocytopenia thrombosis.
Sure, please don't make me repeat.
Yeah, luckily you just
Yeah.
call it HIT, so that's
Okay.
easy. And it's a rare disease. It's an orphan track. It may affect 50,000 people a year at most. For type 1 diabetes, though, there's
yeah.
There's 1.5 million people with that. There's 50,000 new patients that are under the age of 18. It's a pretty significant disease.
Yeah.
Big burden on the country.
Yeah. Well, how far along are you?
We're doing pretty well. So, we'll plan to have our first product for the rare blood disorder HIT in the clinic Q1 2021, which means we're working on IND enabling studies right now,
Okay.
preparing the application to send to the FDA so they can give us the high sign that we can start, treating patients.
Right.
And we're working on the other product candidate for type 1 diabetes that will come probably maybe a year at most after
Okay.
the first product.
Nice. Well, obviously somebody believed in you because you've just recently been funded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting.
It is. It was a long process, and these things, when you don't have money and you're out there, I don't want to say begging, but it feels that way. It takes time. I wanted to make sure that we brought in cash from blue chip VCs as well, because I've gone a route before. I've taken money from high net worths, and I didn't want to do that anymore because you need a lot of help with Therapeutics company, and we're backed by Sanofi Ventures as well as the JDRF T1D venture fund. So they really have a lot of know-how, have deep connections, and have been great so far.
Wow. Are they helping to supplement your business in other ways too?
Sure. So, there's a roadmap to a partnership with Sanofi Genzyme as long as we do what we say we can do.
Oh, perfect.
And that's an exit event. For us as a therapeutics company, we're never going to have a product on the market. Our path forward is to partner or sell to large pharma.
Okay.
And with Sanofi Venture Team and the strategic side of that, Sanofi Genzyme, we have that path forward.
Okay. And you've done this before?
I've done this. So I worked for 10 years in the industry for other people. I started out as a postdoc in a small company in Gaithersburg called Avalon, and I ended up the head of research after about 7 or 8 years there. But after that company, it didn't really survive too well. After 2008, was sold to a couple companies. Forest Lab was the end result of that. I just wanted to start founding my own companies because you always think, God, if I can do this,
It's easy.
and it's really hard.
Yes.
So we founded. I'm a co-founder of Noble Life Sciences, Neximune, Comergene Pharma, and they're all pumping along still. So I don't know if they're going to have big wins or they're not, but they've been around for a while. I'm very confident in Noble Life because it's a CRO and we have an active customer base there. But my commitment of my time is fully on the Veralox as the CEO.
Oh, exciting. And your partners, how did you choose them? How did you guys all decide?
Well, they
to
chose
come
me,
in?
really.
That's exciting.
So I'm at another company at the time. This was in 2014 maybe. And I got a relationship with the NCATs to help me build a new drug. So I'm working there, and the lead guy from their side was David Maloney.
Okay.
We became friends, and we worked directly with each other for a couple of years. And one day I'm just driving through the city in D.C., and he calls me to say he has this great new program that he's been working on for almost 10 years, and now it needs a company built around. He needs a CEO, and he knew me really well, and we're like-minded. We want to do things the right way, and we're like, he told me about it, and I remember where I was. It's sort of like when people say, I know where I was on Challenger,
Right.
same kind of thing.
Right.
So he was telling me all about the program, and generally within 5 minutes, I can tell if something's bad or I can tell what's wrong with it.
Right.
And there was really nothing at that stage of the program that led me to believe that it couldn't be successful. And then he told me, about rare blood disorders and heparin-induced thrombocytopenia. I'm like, that disease almost killed my father, and it's such a rare disease. And it was like the universe was saying, look at this right here, focus on it, and join this team.
Wow. Well, that's exciting.
So, yeah.
That is very exciting. So tell me a little bit more in terms of your background. It's
Sure.
just, you've always been in this. I mean, why life sciences?
Well, yeah, so I think I've always been a scientist at heart. I just wasn't trained.
Okay.
You know that when you're a young person, I only cared about science and learning and trying to figure out how things worked, not mechanically, but on the life science, the living system. Going to school, I went to graduate school, University of Maryland School of Medicine for human genetics, got a PhD in genetics. Went to the National Cancer Institute afterwards, and I was there for a year, developed some new platform, and was recruited by a bunch of pharma companies and decided to stay here because I always say, Maryland people, they just never leave, right? So I stayed here with a company that was doing drug development, and I didn't know anything about drug development, so I was very intrigued. I knew about target ID, so finding the targets for the drugs. And, after 10 years at this company, I learned a great deal about drug development and discovery, and I just really enjoy it. The opportunity to make something that's going to change, it's going to change patients' lives, which means it's going to change the world, right? If you can cure someone, that's beautiful. I mean, you've made your mark.
Boy, that's for sure.
And that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. You have a big heart, that's for sure. And I love the advice that you give other people, too. I mean, I remember when you first came in, you were supposed to be this client that was giving advice, and you ended up becoming the advisors, is what ended up happening. So thank you for that.
That's sure, my pleasure.
Well, you do it very humbly, too. So did you ever have any mentors or anything like that growing up?
Growing up, it was tough. So I come from a long line of people that didn't do biotech. My dad was an iron worker. He was head of the iron workers, but he was an iron worker, tough blue-collar guy. Mom was a homemaker. There's no one in my family other than me that went to college. So there weren't people that could mentor me in the life sciences, but they mentored me on how to act and how to do the right thing and to work hard and take nothing for granted. I do have mentors after getting into the field. My first one was the person that first gave me a job as a research tech, because I took a couple of years between undergrad and graduate school. Stuart Schwartz, he was fantastic. He allowed me to go in the laboratory where other people had to do, they were handed work. He said, figure something out. And that was perfect for me. And he also was the first one to tell me there's no free lunch, which is absolutely true to this day. I have plenty of mentors now. I look to Jeff Libson and Cole Lee is one. I lean on Carl Grant, your chairman,
oh my goodness,
often.
Yeah.
There's a good,
for
there's a
sure.
good bit. You can't do this alone. That's the thing.
Boy, that's for sure. So do you have any, from a business perspective, any favorite quotes or any books or anything like that you would recommend?
Well, maybe one of each, if that's okay.
Oh,
So,
please.
I find in this business that it's enriched for people that have attention deficit and hyperfocus, right? So there's a lot of people like that. So for a book, for those people, Montefiore's Titans of History is great.
I've not read that one.
So it's very thick, but it takes every person that's made an impact on the earth, according to this author, boils them down to like 3 or 4 pages. So it can be, it's a short read. You don't have to, even though the book's that thick.
Right.
It can be very motivating. It's nice to see, what people have done and how they've been successful before.
Yes.
And
I'll definitely read it.
yeah, I'll just give it to you. So, and also for a quote, this business is really hard. Startups. I mean, not just therapeutics, any business. And if you really put your time and your heart, your soul into it, and you still believe that you have a business, I think Jim Valvano's quote's the best, which is just don't give up, don't ever give up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. That is definitely a great one. Well, you know, part of the reason I love quotes, as you know, I send them every Monday. I'd probably send them every day if I could.
Always read them.
And I love the graduation gifts that we're doing because we take the quotes from all of you guys and put them together in a nice plaque so we can leave our graduates with kind of our collective advice. So thank you for that one.
Fantastic.
I appreciate it. And thank you for coming in. I know that you're incredibly busy teaching today, so I appreciate your time so much.
Anytime.
Yeah, and you're phenomenal to have around. I'm so excited about your business too. So thanks.
You're too kind. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching In the Trenches. Learn more at fitzy.org about our advisors and just kind of what happens behind the scenes. Have a great day.